So let's start with the first topic, which is coaching. So the first topic of coaching is really one of the core duties for an associate sales manager and also for sales trainer, sales coach, sales leader in general. Needs to know how to coach salespeople. Okay? So let's first understand what's the meaning of the coaching. Okay? Can someone tell me what does coaching mean?
Training someone on a certain
Training? No,
train someone.
that's invalid. It's not training.
Maybe evaluating.
Evaluating? No, it's not right as well.
I wouldn't say auditing, but trying to get the right word for it.
Not auditing as well.
Put the right path. Put the right path.
What do you mean?
I mean that there is a way that I have trainees or I have employees working on, and if there is anybody that go out of this track, I just get him back to the track of the workflow.
Okay.
Coaching, which is to find like what's went wrong, what's need to be improved, and, like to focus on these things.
Okay.
Uh,
Lara?
I think coaching mainly is
Raise your voice.
figuring out if there is an issue and fixing it with the workflow. Basically, it's the-
Okay. So coaching is coming from the word coach, right? What does a coach do in
Train.
general?
Train. Or give instructions.
give instructions.
Okay.
He leads, basically.
He leads,
He
yeah.
leads.
He gives
Okay.
Yeah, he provides guidance. He provides
Guidance. Okay, guidance is closer.
with like a strategy or something like that.
Yeah, game plan, strategy. What else?
Communicating goals.
Goals. Okay, goal setting.
Maybe deliver the missing points for each one in his team.
Feedback.
Yes.
Yeah.
Advisor.
Advising. Okay.
Coaching is mainly feedback.
Feedback. Yeah. So feedback is the closest thing to coaching, which is providing feedback about how the person is doing and is he on the right track or not. That's one. And I can say coaching is more like optimizing. Okay. So basically, the coach should be putting you on the track where you are the best version of yourself. Okay. So it depends on what the person needs. This coach role can change. Okay. And there's different types of coaching sessions that you can conduct. Okay. So there is life coach, right? What does the life coach do?
He coaches your lifestyle.
Okay. He helps you and guide you to be on the right track on your lifestyle, right? That's suitable for you and fits your needs and your goals, right? And there is a career coach, which can help you find the right career for yourself and help you also to achieve your goals in your career, right? There is sports coach, who can tell you what you need to work on to be better in the field, right? And how to optimize your performance to reach your goals in the field. And there is performance coach, so performance in corporates and companies and so on. These are coaches as well, right? Basically, what the coach do is mainly guidance and behavior correction, okay? And navigation. What's the meaning of navigation? The coach will usually help you navigate by yourself. It's not like the trainer. That's why trainer is not right. Trainer is going to give you a specific training for a specific curriculum that he has, an agenda that he has, right? But a coach will navigate with you what do you need to work on specifically for you, all right? And basically, he's not going to tell you what you are supposed to do. He's going to help you to navigate through the problem until you yourself find the solution by yourself. Okay? So, in the coaching, really, his role is to help you navigate to either behavior correction. Let's say that there is any problem in your life. You know, how can you navigate by yourself to solve this problem? Okay? But he will guide you with questions, right? He will guide you with strategic questions, all right? Coaching is very similar to selling, actually. So when you are selling to a prospect or something, you somehow coach it. How come? By asking the right questions so he can navigate through his pain points and think about the solution, and then you give him the solution. All right? So somehow the coaching specifically and sales is really close to each other. If you're doing the right sales methodology of consultative selling, it's basically like coaching. All right? So let's talk more about barriers. Okay? So some of you said an advisor, right? So he's going to give you an advice. Unfortunately, humans, and I don't want to make it general, but I can say most people, doesn't like to receive advices. You know, whenever we receive advice, sometimes we feel defensive about it. If someone is just coming to you, telling you, hey, you need to do this, what you're doing is wrong. Most likely we don't accept it in this way. Okay? Although the advice might make us better, might help us, but because of the way it was delivered, you might get resistance and defensiveness about it. All of us, our parents, gave us a lot of advice growing up. Don't do this, don't do that. This is bad for you. This smoking will kill you. You know, all these kind of things we got as an advice from our parents. And unfortunately, most of us doesn't listen to it because it was delivered in the wrong way. Okay. So the difference in coaching is it's not, I'm going to tell you what to do. No, I'm going to help you to reach by yourself what you need to do through effective questioning. But before I go into the questions, I need actually for you to be open with me. You need to trust me, right? So first thing first, to be a good coach, you need to have the people trust. Okay? So how will the people trust you? Depending on what are you doing with coaching exactly, you need to build the right persona for the coach. What's the meaning of the right persona? So basically, when you're more likely to listen to someone who's more successful than you in a specific thing, right? As a coach, like you might want to receive coaching from someone who's doing better than you, right? And also, if you feel that this person is egotistical or bossy or whatever, you're less likely to seek advice and coaching from him, right? So the coach usually needs to put the right persona in place, which is the supportive person, the role model, the person who's doing his best himself, and he worked on himself. So people look up to him. So they will listen to what he has to say. Although he's not going to say anything, he's just going to help you by questions. He's not going to tell you what to do. Right? So trust is the first thing. You need to earn the people's trust by multiple things. The right persona, the right behaviors with the people, okay? So they can see you as a coach before you start approaching them, okay, with coaching and so on. One of the biggest mistakes, and I maybe told you guys before about this story, is that in my early career, when I worked and created my own sales formula by listening to all sales coaches and reading sales books and things like that, and I created a formula that was successful in sales. And then I was sharing it with my teammates, right? I was still a rep, just like them, and I was helping my colleagues. But some of them was okay with me approaching them for coaching because we have the trust. We're okay together. But someone else, I did a mistake, which is I approached him with coaching while we didn't have any kind of rapport. And actually, he was more tenure than me. So I don't think at this point I earned his respect and trust enough for him to accept coaching. Okay, so that was a mistake. So one of the mistakes you should avoid is, premature coaching for someone who actually doesn't trust you and doesn't see you as the person that I will be okay receiving coaching from. Okay, so trust is the pillar number one in coaching. You need to earn trust. All right, and ways of trust is a lot. You should have the rapport, the respect, the right image, the right persona, and you be approachable person as well. All right, so people can seek coaching from you, because if you're not approachable and you're always grumpy and you have an attitude, you're angry or have anger management issues, it's hard for people to come and approach you for coaching, right? And if you try to force it, it's not going to be effective, even if you have a position. Okay? So trust and respect needs to be established. Then the next part is the defensive wall. Okay? So when you start the session with someone for coaching, one of the mistakes that people think, I should go into the coaching session, we will talk about what went wrong and how can we fix it. This is damaging. The person will not listen. You know why? Because you didn't remove the defensive barrier. Okay? So what defensive barrier? Everybody thinks that he's the best person. All of us thinks like that, right? But all of us want to be better, definitely. But if you come to me and you neglect all the great things I'm doing and just focus on the one bad thing that I'm doing, then I will feel that you're picking on me, right? You're actually just ignoring all the achievements and successes I'm doing and just focusing on what's going wrong. So that's gonna make the person feel that his efforts is not appreciated. His good things are not appreciated. So as a coach, usually early on in the coaching session, after you start the session by breaking ice, about making the session personal, first you ask the person how is he doing, how's the family, is everything is okay, great, and things like that, to make it personal. Okay? And then you start by praising the person about the good stuff that he's doing. Okay? So how come? So for example, if you're coaching Mo Salah, for example, will you go to Mo Salah as a coach for him in the team and tell him, "Hey Salah, you need to work on your dribbling better," right?
Wouldn't work.
Wouldn't work, right? But with you start the session, let's say with Mo Salah and tell him, Mo Salah, man, you're a legend. What you're doing is amazing. The way you do like the sprints in front of the goal and the goals that you have done this season is just fantastic. What you have done with the national team was amazing. Great job and so on. And keep going until he says thank you. So this is something that you start first, praise the person for the good things that he's doing. So when the person receives the praise, what's gonna happen?
It's gonna open
He's
up.
gonna relax
His guard is
more.
gonna go down.
His defensive guard is gonna go down. He's gonna feel that you appreciate him, right? And then when you talk to him about, okay, so you did fantastic, but let me ask you, Salah, what do you think is the one thing that if you played this game again, you would do it differently? Okay? Then he's going to start to think, yeah, my positioning was not good at this specific time of the game. I was standing in the wrong position, for example. I actually dribbled too much, so I lost the ball. I actually I had the chance to score, but I decided to make something else. I made some decisions that maybe I could have done it better. He will be honest about it because you didn't actually activate his defensive mechanism. You praised him, you lowered the guard, and then you asked him a question that will make him think by himself, if he would do this one more time, how will he do it better? This is how you navigate with someone through coaching session. Okay? You lower the defensive mechanism by praising the person and show him that you care about the person personally, and also that you see his efforts and the great stuff that he's doing, and make sure to tell him that you need to keep doing the great stuff that you're doing. Keep doing that. This is fantastic. Okay? And then ask him a question that doesn't trigger, the defensiveness. One of the questions that's forbidden in coaching is why. Because why automatically activates defensiveness. Because now you need me to justify myself. Right? The question was a why. Right? Makes us feel that we need to justify ourselves. And that puts us in a defensive situation. So why did you do this in this minute? No. This is not going to end well. So why is deleted from this. Okay? If you want to ask why in an indirect way, you can say, what happened that caused this? You can ask what, how, any question that's not a why, because why will definitely close the person. It's not going to make it well for him. So ask, one of the great questions is the one that I told you, which is, if you would do it one more time, what will you do differently? Okay? Or you can ask another question. Okay, so how would you rate this? Okay? Or you can ask, what was the prospect feeling when you asked this question? Make him start thinking, about the effectiveness of what he did. He's gonna start asking by himself, did I press the right button, or I was just randomly playing? So one of the good questions that you can ask is the one that I told you. Or there is another question that's a little bit more direct, which is, what could you have done even better? That's another way to say it. Okay? So, in some cases, the person that you're coaching might not put his hand right away on the point that he needs to fix. Okay? So, what am I supposed to do in such scenario? When I'm asking the questions, but the person, all right, keeps going around it. He goes to other stuff which is maybe not as important, as the one that you're coaching. Your objective is to coach him about. Then make your questions more strategic. Don't make your questions random. So if you ask him, for example, if you would do this again, what would you do differently? And he kept saying stuff that's maybe it's good to do, but it's not the core that needs to be fixed. Ask more specific questions. Like what, for example, if we apply this on sales, so if you ask someone, what would you do differently? And for example, you want to coach him for discovery questions. Okay? But his mind was more directed towards knowledge. So when you asked him, what could you have done even better? He said, yeah, I could have been more prepared with my answers and my knowledge and product knowledge and things like that. Okay, it's good. But that's not the core issue that we want to tackle today, right? So how can I make him figure this point where I want him to be? You can ask more questions. You can ask actually listing questions. Okay? So for example, if you have a scorecard, you can ask him, how do you think you have done in the opening part? And he says, I did 1, 2, 3. Tell him, yes, you did a great opening. How do you think you have done in the discovery part? And then he starts thinking, no, I didn't do right discovery in this call. He will figure it out. This is a way by going through, some list until he finds the one that's missing by himself, right? Another way to direct the questions is you can ask him about actually the other side. So you can ask him, for example, the results questions. That's if it was done properly, the result was going to be achieved. So basically, for example, if I want to ask someone about the discovery questions, that he didn't do discovery questions, you can ask him the results of the discovery questions, about the results of the discovery questions. You can ask him, for example, you can tell him, can you explain for me what are the pain points for this prospect? Right? So he didn't ask any discovery, right? So what he will say is, I don't know. Prospect didn't tell me, right? Then you ask a follow-up question. So what happened that made this prospect, don't tell you the questions? He's gonna say, I didn't ask him, right? So then you stop at this point and tell him, okay, do you think it would have been better and you would have known the pain point if you asked the right questions? He will say yes, right? Correct? Then he figured the issue by himself, right? He went to the point that needs improvement by himself. That's basically some of the ways that you can use questions to navigate the person's thinking until he figures out what's going wrong. And that's completely different than telling the person. If you just tell the person what he needs to do, he's going to tell you, yeah, okay, no problem, I'll do it next time. He's not convinced because he didn't figure it out himself. Right? But if he pinpointed himself without you doing any assumptions, or telling that, hey, you did this wrong, he's gonna start arguing. Yeah, but I didn't need to. I already know what, like these kind of things. All the kind of defensiveness will come out, right? So the second part is on identifying the core coaching point, right? By the person himself. He's the person who needs to do it. Then, so now we've done the praising, right? To lower the defensiveness. And then we have done the correct discovery ourselves, questions, so he can discover the pain point that he had. Then what? He found the problem. What's next?
Finding solution.
Exactly. So how can I make him find the solution? Shall I tell him the solution?
No, we should guide him
Okay,
to
exactly.
communicate the solution himself.
So basically, I'm gonna tell him, okay, so it's great that you found that the discovery was like a missing point in this one. How do you think you could have done it in a better way? He's gonna start thinking, yeah, maybe I could have asked him this. I could have asked that. Right? Then he's now navigating the solution. So yeah, that's a good question. You start praising what he's doing, like that his way of thinking and finding solutions. While he's navigating through solutions, you need to motivate him and praise, like his strategic thinking about it. Make him feel good that he's figuring things by himself. Okay? Then, so now we discovered the issue and then he started navigating the solution. What's the next part of the coaching session?
Choose the
How
way.
can you implement this solution?
Okay, yeah. So
Basically like
now,
a roadmap.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, roadmap, that's good. But the roadmap maybe is one of the latest items. There is another item before that, which is demonstrating what right looks like, right? So now, what you should do in this case, or what do you think? Don't you think a role play on the right way can help? Right? So now he knows what went wrong and how he could do it better. Now, to make the information get saved and and became a practice, you need to practice, right? And that's what the coaches do in the field. So he told you what right looks like. Then during the training sessions, right, of the team playing with each other, he will monitor if you are implementing what right look like, So he's gonna practice with you what right looks like. So after you have identified the pain point and then he understood the solution, and then going to the next point is practicing the solution, practicing what right looks like. So it's, in this stage, usually in the coaching session, you should go by a practice. And the practice in this case is a role play, for example, in our domain, which is the sales domain, right? So having a role play. So let's say the salesperson, when you did the role play, he still can't do what right looks like. He's trying, but he couldn't. Then you as a coach, you can switch rules. And you actually show him what right looks like in practice. Okay? So he's going to be the customer and you are the salesperson. And you demonstrate the skill transfer. Because now it's a skill issue, right? After you identified this and you spoke about it, and you went through the first role play and he couldn't demonstrate what right looks like, then it's a skill. It's a problem with the skill that he doesn't know how to do it, So what shall you do? Then demonstrate what right looks like, basically. So you have a role play, you do the role play with the person and show him what right looks like. And then switch sides again and make him demonstrate what right looks like. So when he starts demonstrating what right looks like, and now he mastered it and he knows exactly what he's going to do in the next call, what shall you do? Praise him for showing improvement right now during the role play, that he now knows how to do it and he practiced it. Praise that. Great job. I think you are a quick learner. You did it very quickly and things like that, to make the person feel good about himself. That's important, guys. The coaching session shouldn't make the person after the coaching session feel bad about himself. No. It should make the person feel better about himself and have a plan for improvement. You know? An executable plan, not a theoretical one. Okay? So you guys figured what right looks like and he demonstrated it in the role play. What's the next step? The next step is results conversation. What's the results conversation? So now you start asking him, okay, so how do you feel about this right now? Do you feel that if you start implementing what you just did right now in your next call, that's going to make it better? You know, start talking about results with them. You know, start to envision the results of implementing the new way of doing things that he's now convinced with, and he reached it by himself without you telling him. He's the one who figured everything. Okay? So start talking about results so he can start imagining the results, which is going to give him a motive to apply. Okay? And then hold accountability. What's the accountability that you will hold? So you start telling him, okay, so right now, when will you start implementing this in your actual calls? If you hear an answer like, yeah, I can try it next month, then he's not convinced. You need to figure out what went wrong during this coaching session that made this person not convinced with the coaching he received. All right? Start asking, okay, so what do you think is the blocker from applying it this month or starting from today? You can ask him this question. Then he's going to start thinking, yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to work. So I don't want to risk with the rest of the month because I have a comfortable way of doing things, you know, like maybe he want to stick to the comfort zone still and maybe try it in a more safe time. Then he still thinks that this is not effective. It's a trial. Then back up your solutions, that like the solutions that he figured with you, with data. You know, like that this methodology, for example, X is applying it and Y is applying it and Z is applying it and it's bringing great results for him. So he can start have more credibility that he's not taking a risk by the behavior correction that he's gonna do. It's actually gonna make his life better. Back it by social proof, in other words. Right? And then get the commitment that, okay, so since now he's convinced and he's gonna start implementing it, tell him, okay, so the next connected call, for example, I will listen to it and see how things went. Are you okay with that? Okay? And then prepare for the next session by telling him, okay, so next session, we will either talk about another topic, if this one is already tackled, or if this one is still not improved, then we will talk about it again. Set expectations about the next meeting. Right? And give timeline. Have a smart plan, in other words, to do this. So, right now, Haredi, can you give me the full structure now of the coaching session that we have discussed since we started this meeting?
The coaching will start about like praising himself first. I
Okay.
give him the praise.
So you will start by praising what he's doing
Good.
good.
He's doing good.
Okay.
Yes.
We said something before this one.
Asking about how it's going, like make it personal.
Yeah, make it personal. Make him feel that you care about him as a
Exactly.
person,
How's life,
away from
how's family,
business.
how's work,
Yes.
how's everything. After I give him the praise about what he's doing, which is the great things. Like
Okay.
you are doing this great and this and this and this and this.
So first, after making it personal, you start praising the good things and the great things that he's doing, and saying, "Great job! You're doing this right and this right and this right." Right? Then,
Then ask, like, what do you think about, like, in this situation? What do you think if this situation happen again? What you gonna do different?
yeah. So you're asking him about alternative, scenario. So if he will do the same thing one more time, what would he change about it? So you can check if he's actually aware about what could have done better or not. So this is an indirect way to ask it. Or you can ask the direct way. What could have been even better in this one?
What went well and what went bad.
Yeah, so what went well is the praising part, which is that we are praising him about what went well. That's the went well part, to lower the defensive shield.
I'm thinking about let him speak it out.
Yes,
himself,
yes, yes,
you know?
exactly. Everything is speaking. He's speaking about himself. We're not gonna say anything. So the praising part is that you ask him what are the great things he's doing, and praise him for it, and then you start asking about what could have been done better, or you can ask the question in a different way, which is, if you do this one more time, how would you do it differently? Or another way, which is rating, same like the rating that we do on the other sessions, which is on the scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this goal, for example? And he says 7. Okay, so why do you say 7? So what are the 3 missing parts that you could have done better? And he says it by himself. You are not gonna say you did wrong on this or you did. Okay? Thank you. So Haridi, so what if the person didn't figure out the issue by himself? How can you help him by questions to reach it?
At this point, we say that I'm gonna ask about the point, the missing point, but in indirect way, as the
Okay.
pain points that do you think that these prospects have pain points? If yes, please let me know about them. If no, so why don't know about the pain points for the
Exactly. So
prospects?
we're asking about the results.
Yes.
If we're, let's say, coaching for discovery in this scenario, we can ask it in a reverse way, which is, what are the pain points for this prospects? And then the rep will tell you, I don't know. And then you can ask him, so what happened that made this prospect don't tell you the pain point? Then he's gonna start. Yeah, I didn't ask. So then you start asking, so how about if you asked, do you think you could have reached his pain points? Yeah, I could have reached his pain points and knew his pain points if I asked. Then now he knows that the issue that he had in this case is the discovery. He didn't do proper discovery in the company. This is an indirect way by asking about the results of using the discovery, not asking about the discovery himself. Or another way, Marco, what was it? Do you remember?
Try to find the proper way to ask him, what do you think if we put this question or this methodology in the call, will it be more beneficial for you to figure out the interest for the prospect so that you can go with it in a correct way or in a more proper way to reach out to your goal, which is maybe for sales to book the meeting or to sell these products.
So you're showing him the results of demonstrating, what right looks like.
I'm asking him, do you think that if we put this missing part, this will be beneficial for you?
Yes, you're asking about the results.
Yes.
Of doing the right thing, right? And then he starts thinking about the results.
Mhm.
And if he's convinced, he's gonna say, yes, I think if I could have asked better questions, I could have known his pain points and I could have stressed on it, then it's more likely that I could sell it, right?
And
secure the sale.
if it's not convinced yet, We will try to choose the other path, which has the role plays that I'm gonna be the prospect and he's the BDR, and I will try to show him that if you ask me this question, I will let you know my pain points so that you can stress on it and you can convince me as a prospect to go with you through what you are selling.
That's right. This is actually the part where you're demonstrating. He's going to be demonstrating what right looks like. Right. That's good. What else, Tim?
After we basically give them the chance to basically say the things that we're missing by guiding him through our questions about the actual topic. Basically, we should like make it practical after that by just making a role play just to discuss how it should be done, just to guarantee the better results
Okay.
just to become in our way next time. And he must be convinced, like it must be communicated to him like that.
Okay.
At the end of like the coaching.
Sounds good. Thank you. And then after that, Nada, what was the next step?
I think we're having future expectations that
Future expectations. Okay.
yes, the full session we're gonna either talk about this once more if we didn't say mistake, or we're gonna follow up on other subjects.
Okay. Good.
So we did practice with him. He knows the right thing to do. If we didn't say mistake, we're gonna have another session. If not, then we can improve in other aspects.
What if during the role play he couldn't demonstrate what right looks like?
I think we can reverse it.
Yeah.
Like I can be the salesperson.
Yes. So we reverse roles. I show him what right looks like. So and then we switch roles again
Exactly.
until he demonstrates it.
Yes.
And then next part, Dania.
And then after that, after he shows that, we praise him because he got he became a
Yeah.
learner and all of
We
this
praise him
stuff.
for the quick learning.
Yes. And then after that, we set up a plan. When do you think if you can implement this solution?
Yes, the timeline. So you can start asking about the timeline. And what if the person said that he's gonna start implementing it from next quarter, for example?
Okay, if he said that, then ask him why are you thinking that you want to implement it then? To find out the reason.
Try to avoid why. You said try to avoid asking by why question because now he needs to justify himself.
Okay.
And that's a defensive way.
And
So
then-
we said we can ask the same thing but in an indirect way, which is by asking what are the blockers that's gonna hinder you from applying from next call.
Okay. And then maybe give him examples of people that are doing this and it's actually
Social
working for them.
proofing to get the trust about the methodology. Perfect. Okay, good. Yeah. Right. Great job, guys. You actually nailed it. You got really good spot on answers on these. And I think right now, do you think you digested the coaching process?
Yes.
Okay. So we said we're gonna talk about the coaching, and I think this is just the first part of the coaching, which is navigation and skill transfer. So there are other coaching sessions that's not skill related, which is, for example, performance discussion. And that's away from the call listening and implementing techniques and things like that. It's more about will and blockers in the will and the motivation and things like that. These sessions are going to be very similar in terms of the starting of it. Should be by praising the good stuff that he's doing overall,
And
making it personal, definitely praising the good things, the good behaviors he's doing, and then start asking about, okay, so if you would evaluate your performance overall, how would you evaluate it, right? And then you can start asking about, okay, so what are the missing parts? So what are the roadblocks you're facing, which is similar to the HPS, basically, form that we have, right?
Yes.
And what do you think are the parts that you need help with? Right? So you're gonna start to make it more general, not just specific to a call or an email or whatever. Right? So let's say you did this and then the person didn't have improvement at all in any of that. And you actually already have the skill transfer sessions with him, and you're sure that now he doesn't have a skill issue and he still have a will issue. So what's gonna be the next session discussion?
I would say it should be about clearing the path towards the goal by just highlighting how we could set a goal by let's say the SMART methodology. Because if he has any kind of will issue, if we just break the goal down to simpler steps, and if he just takes one step in front of the other and just starts doing it, it will definitely be an improvement.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes when we think a lot about something and we don't take the first action, we will always stay in the same corner. We wouldn't move.
Yeah, but I would say that the goals should be in the first session. To set the goals and how you can reach it and so on and so forth. But if you've done all this and then no improvement is happening, what's gonna be the next session? Can someone guess? No. So the next session usually after the performance review and there is no improvement and you provided all the support in terms of coaching, training, all these kind of things to ensure that there is no skill issue. And it's a will issue, but it's persistent after the goal setting and all these kind of things. So the next session usually it's called accountability conversation. So accountability conversation is that first of all, you're explaining to the person where he stands right now. And you're explaining to the person as well how impactful his contribution to the team and to the business. But you're not explaining it that you're telling. No, you ask also questions. Always the coaching is about asking.
Basically, where does he see himself?
So exactly. So where do you see yourself right now? And then you ask him, okay, how are you impacting the team in a positive way or a negative way? Team performance. How do you see things if this continues for another couple of months?
What are the things that, if done correctly, would improve his rank within his peers in the team?
Yeah. So basically, the accountability conversation is making the person feel the responsibility of what he's doing, right? And that it's not just a personal thing that's going to impact him only personally, it's going to impact the whole team and himself and the account and so on. And not only that, you should start also by communicating next steps, like consequences, basically, of failing to deliver. So you start asking him questions like, what do you think is going to be the next step if you remain in the bottom quartile? Okay? And he starts thinking about it. What do you think is going to be the next course of action from the management perspective in case that there is no improvement? Yeah. So you start asking, okay, so right now the next course of action as per what he said is X. So how can we avoid that? What's his plan for improvement? If he's willing to improve. If it's not willing, then what's hindering him from improving? So if the skills is tackled already, what's hindering him? Is he lacking motivation? He's lacking stability? He's lacking resources? What's exactly lacking that's hindering the person from changing the course he's going through right now? And you need to communicate basically the next steps clearly. That, okay, so we will help with XYZ, and now you're gonna do XYZ. But if if there is no improvements, so the next course of action is going to be 1, 2, 3. Everything needs to be communicated clearly to the person in the accountability conversation. So you don't surprise the person by anything. Like, it's definitely not okay for the person to out of a sudden find himself on an action plan for exit if he doesn't succeed. It's not okay. You should have a clear expectations about this before it happens. And you should have enough space and time to work on what's missing so he can be on the right path. Okay? And also, you need to set up clear goals and break it into milestones and make it gradual and very attainable for the person to feel that, yeah, it's doable, I can do it. If you made it impossible, there is no point. So if someone, let's say, for example, is in the bottom quartile, he's, let's say, getting, his target is 10 sales per month, he's getting 1 per month right now. Then you tell him, okay, you need to get 10 before end of the month. Is that an achievable goal for him? Of course not. Exactly. You're setting him up for failure.
Just saying something monthly and not giving any kind of tips or help or how.
Yeah. So basically, it
How
needs
we
to
should
be
achieve that.
attainable goal. So if he's getting right now, let's say 1, then set up an initial goal of improvement that he needs to move to, let's say 4 in month number 1. And again, exactly.
Yes.
It should be a smart goal. It needs to be specific, measurable, attainable, and time relative. So basically, it needs to be something that he can get out of the meeting, go do it while he knows that he can do it. And it would have been even better if you ask him what he thinks he can achieve. Okay? Let's say he said, yeah, I can get 4. Right? Then you can tell him, okay, how about we make it 5? Challenge it a little bit. Because some people will be conservative in what they communicate as goals. They will be afraid to communicate something that you will hold against them. Like if he said, yeah, I can get 6. No, he's not gonna go and get 6. He's gonna say, yeah, I can get 3. Or, like he wants to be conservative about what he's gonna commit to. Then you need to challenge it a little bit. Okay? But don't challenge it by making it the extreme. Like, no, you need to get 11. No, of course not. So he said 3, okay, you push it to 4. He said 4, you push it to 5. Like try to challenge it so it doesn't become hard nor easy. It needs to be challenging a little bit. Okay? So these are coachings for accountability conversation when a person is not showing any improvement and there is no skill issues, so on. All right? So that's the second type of coaching sessions. Third type, which is my favorite and I love it so much, recognition coaching. You don't have to do the coaching session to correct behaviors or to do something to tell the person that he needs to improve. He's a top performer and he's doing great. He's following everything right. Shall you ignore him completely? No. You should have coaching sessions and tell him, man, you're doing great. You're crushing it. Just keep doing what you're doing right now. What you're doing is working and it's great and I listen to your calls and it's a masterpiece. Just keep doing that. Don't deviate from it. Don't try to change it without, being cautious about if you change something about it because it's really working well. And also motivate the person to share his best practices with his team. So this is a coaching session, but it's a coaching session about staying on the top and also supporting the other team members by the good things that he's doing. Okay? This is another coaching session type, and it's the easiest and also the most loved one. Okay? So these are so far 3 types of coaching sessions that you can conduct with your team. We can talk about coaching forever, all right? It's a very rich topic, okay? There are a lot of coaching modules, and this is gonna be your homework, okay? So for our next session, I will ask you about 4 different coaching styles and methodologies that different companies use, that different organizations used, that's proven success. We have our concentrics one, which is called Grow. This is the official concentrics coaching style. It's called Grow. There is other coaching styles taught in other businesses. We will not mention the other businesses' names, but there is like the direct feedback model. I think some of the people in the room knows it. And there is the ACE coaching, and there is multiple other coaching styles that actually people can use for coaching. I will give you the freedom to do some research about coaching styles and what are the latest coaching styles in 2026, basically, because things change by time and new approaches comes in, new techniques of coachings comes in. So basically, that's going to be the homework for next time. The coaching styles, 4 coaching styles. It doesn't have to be the same for everyone. Each person do his own research and come with 4 different coaching styles. And you need to understand it, not just know its name. Okay? No, you need to check it out, try to understand how it's conducted and what are the results usually from it and so on.